You can't see this. You guys can see it's a really like mind. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Nicktendo 29. The next one is episode 30. Today we're going to talk about Riverdale. Oh, dude, the cameras are so off. So I got to do this. I got to figure out that one. I'm going to leave it alone. But it's all good. All right, so we're going to talk about Riverdale. Maybe a little. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. So 3 seasons of Riverdale so far, all on Netflix. Binge it. You have a week. Plenty of time to do it.
I think I did it in a week.
Yeah, you were fast, dude.
A week or two.
At one point, you were like almost caught up to me, and I was like, I gotta finish this.
I know.
So I kind of jumped ahead. Dude, what's up, Harry? Dude, I got these YouTube followers. There's always 2. I never know who the second one is, but it's always at least Perry. But anyways, so yeah, we're gonna talk about Riverhead. We'll go through season 1. Riverdale. Wow, Riverhead. That's where I work. We'll go through the plot, the town, the characters. Season 1 will take us a while. We'll go through season 2 for you, and then season 3 we'll give you our season 4 predictions on a couple of little things based off what we've seen on trailers, and then we're gonna add a new portion to the show called Trivia, where we question each other at the end, like 5 questions each, and that's really it. We haven't decided what we're gonna win, but eventually we'll have prizes. So yeah, you did it in like a week. I did it in a couple, probably like 2 months' time. Stop being me. Oh, it's a long name. Hi, Nerd Fan Universe. Oh, hello. I don't know who are you. Hello. Anyways, yeah. So the show is based off of the Archie comics. The characters from the comics are come out into the show.
Is that what Archie got his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all the characters, like Jughead Jones is a character in the comic book.
Okay.
But the comics have been around for like, my God, I don't know how long. They were like the comics that started off in like the newspapers and then made it big, and like my dad read them as a kid.
Really?
Like, yeah, like it was a big thing, and it was all about Archie Comics and his friend Jughead Jones. The girls really came in, and based off of what I've read, things ended up the way they did in the show, but there was never like this much drama in the comics, I think.
Okay, was it dark? Like
No.
Show? I feel like the show kind of has a dark.
Each comic had like its own little story, like Jughead loses his shoes, let's say. Not like, oh, the Black Hood is in town and it's time to run. Okay. So season 1, they live in the town of Riverdale.
What? They're almost as old as Superman 1?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
See, I learned something new.
So each season has its its story. So season 1 is obviously who killed Jason Blossom.
Yeah.
So we'll get into who Jason Blossom is.
Did you learn that in season 1?
You see, my dad said the same thing. Like, Veronica and Betty are pretty hot in the comics. Oh, really? I don't have an original Archie. You can go to the comic store and buy them, but like, I just never have. But I believe it too, Perry. But yeah, so we'll get into who the Blossoms are, because Jason Blossom is the main idea behind season 1 is the best way to put it. So we'll go through characters. We'll kind of go like every other on this. How does that sound?
Yeah. All
right, so you start. So first character, Archie Andrews. What do you got on Archie?
What do I got on
All spoiler, we're spoiling everything. Just so if you haven't seen the show, get off. Sorry, see you next time. If you've seen the show, you're good to go.
Yeah. Or just forget in one ear, out the other. Yeah. Enjoy the show.
Finish it, go home, watch it, and then watch the new season with us next Wednesday. We'll probably watch it together. So, but season 4 next Wednesday on the CW. So go ahead, Archie Andrews. What do you got?
Archie Andrews, redhead.
Redhead.
He's kind of like he's kind of like your stereotypical good guy. Like
Absolutely.
I would say he's the protagonist of the show. I mean, he's part of that core 4.
Yeah.
You know, great intentions. You know, he wants to help everybody. He's a football player, but he's not a jerk. Like, you know, he has a heart. He plays guitar. He sings love songs.
Mhm.
Respects the hell out of his dad. But I think he's good to a fault. Like, he's so good and wants to help everybody that it just sets him up to get into so many bad situations. Because it's like,
Because he's willing to do so much.
He's willing to do so much, and then like even he'll help the bad guys just for the sake of helping.
Right, like just to keep everybody happy and healthy, I guess.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. So the story starts off. His mom is gone. His mom comes back in, I believe, in season 2, and doesn't come in season 1. Played by Molly Ringwald.
Yep.
Yeah, I know I didn't recognize her at first.
No, I knew this.
No, because the only thing I've ever seen Molly Ringwald in is like 16 Candles, which I hate.
Yeah.
My mom loves that movie, and she'll watch it every time it's on. And I'm like, nah. and then I obviously The Breakfast Club, which is golden movie of all time.
That's basically it for me.
I just choked on a. Yep, just choked on a wall. That's how I was poking. I was like, dude, punch me in the throat. Anyways, his dad is Fred Andrews. He runs a construction site that he owns. He's the late and great Luke Perry. In season 4, they're going to do a whole episode based on what happens to him in the show, because during season 3's filming, he ended up dying in real life during season 3. So Archie is, the show starts off, Archie is with one of his teachers, who's the musical teacher. And as Dylan was saying, he's a big musician. He's writing songs. He plays the guitar. He'll perform a few times in the show. He actually sings a lot of the songs himself. First of all, his name is KJ Apa. If you don't know him, where's he from?
Australia. Or New Zealand. I
don't know the difference between those two things. I don't know if New Zealand is a
little country off New Zealand.
So you know what's funny about New Zealand? Is New Zealand in Australia? Or it's on the continent of Australia? It's considered?
I think I learned, I don't know if I believe it. I always thought New Zealand was part of Australia. Like, Australia is the continent, and then New Zealand's off it, so I thought it was kind of part of the continent of Australia, but apparently it's not. Apparently it's its own independent country.
Wow, dude, he got named after Luke Perry.
Who did?
The guy Perry Comics that I follow. Holy crap, that's awesome. So if you want to hear something, if you thought you were dumb thinking that about Australia, remember when the Rocket Power team went down under?
To New Zealand. Yeah, race across New Zealand.
I thought New Zealand was like in South America, and they went under North America to South America to race across New Zealand.
No.
I know. I was young. I still don't do geography well. But anyways, so there's this lady, Miss Grundy, who Archie has a summer fling with. Because the show starts off where his neighbor, Archie, apparently was supposed to be like some fat kid who got ripped and shredded over the summer, and KJ App is absolutely ripped and shredded. Like, from head to toe. He's just lean as hell. But they like make the joke that he was fat before the summer. He worked for his dad all summer. And one day he was walking home, lifted up his shirt, his six-pack was even his teacher was like drinking a Slurpee and was like, "Where are you going?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm building character, walking home in the heat." And he got in her car, and then they got in the back of the car. So that was a big part of the whole plot of season 1. He's a football star. They start off in sophomore year in the show. And he's a big football star because Jason dies, who was like the senior quarterback.
He's not a quarterback.
Yeah.
Archie's a running back.
Yeah, running back, right. He ends up trying to fill Jason's shoes with that, which is a big problem. His best friend, his neighbor, is Betty Cooper, who we'll get into after this. She's the next character we'll talk about. She's in love with him, and it's kind of one of those things where like, you want him to be in love with her. But as the show goes on, it works out where they all fall in love anyways. Archie will end up with Veronica Lodge, who we'll go into. And then I wrote that Archie is a whore. That's my final.
You said that a lot before the show started.
We were watching episode 1 just for fun before this. And literally it starts off like Betty is in love with Archie. His neighbor Betty Cooper is in love with Archie Andrews. And he takes her out on a date. And they're like, oh, they're finally dating. It's great. Perfect. You're so happy for Betty. On the first date, Veronica Lodge, one of the main characters, walks in. And Archie just wants to clap cheeks. Like, she walks in and he's like, oh, you want to sit with us? And it's like, what? What planet are you? I don't think he's a whore. The amount of girls he sleeps with in this show are terrible.
He's the best in everything.
He kisses everyone.
He's just got a lot of love to go around. I think he's...
Oh, I can't say it that way.
I don't think he means it. He means well.
He means well. But think about it. Season 1, Miss Grundy, 2 of the Pussycats, Veronica. Like, the only girl he doesn't kiss is Cheryl. Did they just lead off the game with a home run?
He does kiss Cheryl.
Holy
Cheryl kisses him.
Oh, I didn't remember that. All right, so he kisses everybody.
Remember when, I think it's season 2 or later on in season 1? Oh, no, I think it's season 1. Yeah, where they start bringing Archie around to, like, impress her dad's business associates.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's when he was dating Valerie. I don't want to jump too far.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have Valerie as a main character at all.
He was dating Valerie, from the Pussycats. And
the Pussycats are another musical band through school.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's what we have on Archie. Go ahead and hit me with Betty. Betty Cooper.
Betty. Didn't we already talk about Betty?
No, I kind of added her in Archie because of the relationship thing.
All right, well, okay, so who else did we talk about after?
That was it. I'm only up to Betty. Betty is my second character on my outline.
All right, so like you said, Betty lives next door to Archie. They grew up together. They were friends. She's basically like the girl next door to Archie. She's a goody-goody. It's the best way to explain it. Like,
yeah, she's she's a schoolgirl.
Pure.
Yeah.
Like, she's pure. Like, collared sweaters, pink.
Yeah. She's not giving Archie her cheeks.
Kind of very preppy, very... I wouldn't say she's religious.
She acts it, though, yeah. I see what you're saying.
You're very, like, goody-goody girl.
Mm-hmm.
She has a crush on Archie.
Yep.
But... Like you say, you say Archie's an asshole, but Archie, they're just best friends. And Archie,
at first, he's an asshole to her.
He doesn't recognize that she's in love with him because he's so just like fixed on being nice.
He's just ripe for competition. Kinda.
But
competition ends quick, though, actually.
All right, so aside from the love thing, her parents are both journalists, so she's a journalist in a school newspaper. So a lot of what she does is like kind of investigative work throughout the show because, of course, there's a whole bunch of mysteries, the plot of the show. So Betty's like really important in that sense.
Yeah.
Aside from the whole having a crush on Archie.
Mm-hmm. So I have her parents, like you said, Hal and Alice, reporters. She has a sister named Polly who at the start of the show isn't around anymore. Polly was dating Jason, the guy who dies. So the fact that Jason is dead and Polly isn't around, you don't know what they're going to make of it. Eventually, Polly comes back into the show, and we'll kind of get into that as we get into the plot of season 1. Right now, we're just introducing you to the characters. She's mother Archie. Her best friend is this gay kid, Kevin. Super cool character. He becomes important towards every season of the show at some point. He does something big, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. He's a really good, he's a supporting character.
Absolutely.
Like that
tremendous supporting character.
He supports the main characters. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah,
but he does it really well.
He's good for everybody. Like, he's so necessary on the show.
Yeah, no, he's definitely 100%.
He's a good filler. That's the big thing. He's a good filler for like that. Yeah. So Betty instantly becomes friends with Veronica because when Veronica moves to Riverdale, we'll go into this a little bit more. Betty's job, I don't know what you call it. She shows Veronica around the school. So she's very into school. Like, she's very into her schoolwork. She's looking to put things on her resume.
She's involved. She's
very involved. Eventually, she'll fall for Jughead Jones, which is the oddest couple at first, and then it's just the couple of the century. Then they get together in real life. She's a mystery solver, reporter for the school. You nailed that one, dude. You got everything. So we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to go into Jughead Jones. Go ahead.
He grew up on the other side of the train tracks.
That's right.
So, like we said about Archie and Betty, that they're so good and they're pure and great intentions. I mean, Jughead's a great guy, but he kind of grows up in like a trailer park, so he kind of seems a little dumpy, a little shady. He's got the darker hair. He dresses a little.
His parents are like bad news for people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to judge anybody on how they dress, but they make him look the part of hanging around with the wrong crowd. Absolutely. And eventually he does when he joins the gang and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's Archie's best friend. They grew up together, they lost touch, and then they start getting back together in the beginning of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Archie's dad and Jughead's dad were also best friends growing up.
Right.
So I guess maybe that's how they have that
Very
connection. But Jughead, I mean, he's the narrator of the whole show, so obviously he's important,
Very.
like just as important as Archie is. And his main thing is, he's a reporter too. Like in the beginning of like season 1, he's kind of from the outside looking in. He's not part of that Archie and Betty friendship yet with Veronica and Kevin. And so Jughead's kind of off doing his own thing, writing his own journals and doing his own investigative work. And he kind of questions everything like that's going on.
Yeah. He's very smart for somebody who doesn't look it.
Yeah. He's
played by the great Cole Sprouse. Although I don't really know if I call him the great Cole Sprouse. He's done like 2 things since Riverdale.
Big Daddy.
Since Riverdale. That was a big thing. Friends, Big Daddy, all that. Yeah. Hi, Miss. Hi, Aaron. We got more people. Hi, Connor. Trying to read it from far away. I think you nailed this one too, dude. His parents are F.P. Jones and Gladys. Gladys, his mom, and his sister Jellybean don't come in until season 3. They kind of split down on the dad. Yeah, F.P. his dad. There's like bad news for everybody that can't hold a job. They live in a trailer. So the show starts off where Jughead has nothing to do with his dad. Jughead lives at a movie theater that'll eventually get closed down. Then he like lives in a closet in the school, and Fred Andrews takes him in for a while.
Yeah.
When he starts dating Betty, her mom hates Jughead and hates FP, and the whole thing kind of goes, hey, what's up, Cricket? Narrates the story Archie's friend life, his home life, his sister Betty. He's a reporter too. He solves mysteries. Goddamn. All right, on to your favorite. Here's the cool part about the show. First of all, oh hi Kevin. What's great is the girls in the show are about our age, but they literally give you a blonde, a redhead, and a dark-haired girl. Like, it's fantastic. Like, what?
You get every flavor.
You get Jason Sale in this. You get that 6-slider, the fastball at 98, and the changeup in the dirt. Perfect. He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
You get the strawberry shake, the chocolate shake, and the vanilla shake from Pop's Chocolate Shop. That's what you get.
That is exactly.
Milkshakes are a prime
what
topic in this show.
Yeah, we'll get into Pops. Go ahead and talk about your favorite girl, Veronica Lodge.
Veronica. I like her. I like Veronica just because she's exotic. Not because she's rich or anything like that. Like,
we could do a rated R episode on this show.
It's just
we're not gonna.
She's smarter than she looks. She's more cunning than she looks.
Speaking of a redhead, what does one do with a blister? Oh, you take a needle and thread. Did you find my first aid kit at work? I have a first aid kit. If you look underneath the cabinet, there's a piece of tape with a sewing kit, and it's my first aid kit. If you take it down, you take the needle, you put it through the blister a little bit, pull it out, get the thread like a little bit through, cut the thread, leave the thread hanging in there, soaks up all the water, you pull it out like an hour later, no blister, no rip.
Never heard that before.
I had to do it all the time playing baseball.
It sounds pretty easy, but
it is. Like when you get them like this big on your bat and your hand, you get like a new baseball bat because the way you're squeezing. Yeah. You've got to literally go pull it through, soak that shit up, pull it through. You're good for the rest of the day. There's no blister. There's no cut. You can put your glove on without it hurting.
I wish I knew that when I got my toe one from football.
I do it with my toes too. That's what it's for. I have this lady Judy I work with. She's probably watching because she's at work. I make Judy.
Where is this kid?
Judy sews my foot all the time. Every day I walk out. Well, not every day, but when it happens, I'm like, Judy, pull the first aid down. She knows she's sewing me up. So yeah. It's underneath the. No, well, yeah. I mean, Mike had we're so off topic. Mike had like a sewing kit from like a jacket he wore once because when you buy like a men's jacket, it comes with it for like buttons.
Yeah.
And he had, like it has all this thread on it, so like we cut the thread and like you don't use the same end of it. But yeah, if you have a blister, you can go use it. I wouldn't use the same needle though because it's been through my foot like 3 times. Anyways, go with Veronica. Go back to Veronica.
Veronica. Okay, so. Yeah, she's exotic. She's smarter t's she looks. She's more cunning than she looks.
Oh, yeah.
She kind of like, just from being rich and hanging out with like shady people, she's kind of like, she just knows the inner workings of people. She knows how to work people really well. She's super sexy.
She is.
She's just talented. Like, she sings really well. Like, she can compete with everybody on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, whether it be like a spelling bee with Betty or like a cheer dance with Cheryl or singing with Josie, like she just can compete with everybody.
Then she opens the restaurant eventually, like
and she's crazy. Very like she's just well-rounded girl. But she gets a little shady herself, but usually her intentions are good. I mean, her dad's bad guy.
Yeah.
Her mom's probably the hottest person on the show.
she used to be hotter. It didn't age well. She's another one. I mean, she looks good, but I think Veronica is.
And then she even runs for student president, right?
When her mom runs for mayor.
Yeah, so she's just perfect.
Yeah, she's at like high school. Well, she's not. Betty is the high school sweetheart. Veronica is like the.
She's almost like the anti-Betty.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But they're very good friends.
But like you like Betty, I like Veronica, so it works.
Sure. There you go.
There we go. Split We're Archie and Jughead.
We'll put 2 straws in that strawberry shake. Hold on, we got pause. Dude, my connection keeps. There we go. It's back. So her parents are Hiram. That's her dad. He doesn't come in until the finale of season 1, and then her mom is Hermione. New to Riverdale, she's got her daddy problems because her dad ends up starting off in jail. The mom takes her to this new apartment. That's the only thing like their name that she has. And they get a huge package of money, like one of the first days, so he obviously knows where they are. Becomes friends with Betty through cheerleading. They kiss episode 1. They use tongue. She becomes friends with Cheryl because of the death of her brother. Her and Archie will eventually end up together. She becomes a part of the core 4 that we keep talking about. So those are the core 4. Archie, Jughead, Betty, and Veronica. Works out because they all date. They all almost kiss except for 2 of them. We'll get into that. And yeah. Go ahead and hit me with Cheryl Blossom. So here's the redhead.
She's crazy.
She's nuts. She is nuts. She is smoking hot.
Where do you start with Cheryl? So she's cheer captain, very outspoken, loud. She's another one kind of like Veronica.
For tattoos.
She can kind of F with everybody. You know, like she's also smart. She's also sexy. She's also good with a bow and arrow. She's rich. She's insanely rich. God. She's also she's like, okay, so Veronica's the anti-Betty, but Cheryl's like the anti-Betty and Veronica.
Yeah. She's like just not like either of them. But I think because she's so twisted and, you know, she had a weird upbringing. She's very, she talks funny. She kind of talks kind of philosophical, but it's like her own twisted Yeah, that's true. That's a good way to put it. Like the way or in rhyme. Like sometimes the things she says is so cryptic. It's okay, Cheryl. She's very condescending. But you're weird. Yeah, she's mean to everybody, but then she's nice to everybody. It's almost you don't know who the real Cheryl is because she bipolar. I guess that's the best way to describe it. She's freakishly in love with her brother. For the longest time, I thought she wanted to get. Yeah, I thought they were definitely doing it. That's what I thought was funny because Jason kind of looks like Archie, and the way that Cheryl looks at Archie throughout all the first season, she wants Archie because her and her brother. Yeah, so she's the sister of Jason, who obviously the show, the first season is about figuring out, who killed Jason, what happened to Jason. So yeah, so she's the sister of that very wealthy family. So Riverdale is basically a town that runs off the maple industry. So the Blossoms, Cheryl's family, they basically own the biggest maple company in Riverdale. So they're super rich. And yeah, that's Cheryl. Her parents are Penelope and Clifford. Her dad is this weird dude. Her mom is also they're just not nice people. They hate Betty's sister and then take her in eventually when she comes in Polly. And her mom and dad are siblings, adopted. Oh, that's right. They adopt Penelope. Yeah, the Blossoms. Yeah. The whole thing is odd. They basically, so Cheryl's mom was basically adopted by her dad's family to marry Clifford. Yeah. It's odd. Kind of like incest. We're just going to hit you with we call them Sideshow Bobs, characters that are in the show that I guess have some importance and... Pop Tate, number 1. So he runs the chocolate shop. It's like a diner where they're open all the time. A lot of stuff goes down there. It's one of the main, I feel it's where everybody meets up. Yeah, they always all end up there. Fred Andrews, Archie's dad, he gets into a lot of stuff. Hermione Lodge becomes important. Alan Alice, FP, the Blossoms. Reggie is another high schooler that they go to school with. Reggie, I'd say he's kind of he's another supporting character like Kevin. I don't think he's as important as Kevin, but he has his moments. In season 1, him and Archie are rivals because he's another football player. Going for Jason's spot on the team. They want the captain because Jason was the captain. Yeah. Kevin, that gay kid we were talking about, his dad is the sheriff. Becomes very important.
Josie's mom is the Mayor McCoy.
Yeah, the Pussycats. Chuck is another student who...
He's another football player. His dad's the coach, but
he's like one of those privileged kids.
Yeah, he's like a privileged jockey kid who just takes advantage of girls and everybody he meets.
What did St. Louis score?
So, yeah, Chuck is comes in and out. I don't think he's that important.
Yeah, he's like,
filler character.
The Serpents are again run by F.P. Jones. Eventually, we'll get into what happens with that with the Jones family.
Are we going over characters just in season 1 or like throughout the whole show?
I kind of been airing it out, to be honest.
Okay, because then you could say there's Chick.
Oh, yeah, no, so we got those characters who come in.
There's the Sisters of Quiet Mercy.
Yeah. So the Sisters of Quiet Mercy is what we'll talk about.
Polly's not really too relevant in season 1, I don't think.
Yeah, it's like her most important season, but it's not important.
There's Ethel Muggs.
God. Yeah, those are all the kids. She comes important in season 3.
Oh, what's the Boy Scout's name?
Doily.
Doily, yeah. Dilton Doily.
Yeah. He finds Jason's body. No, they find Cheryl. But the Sisters of Quiet Mercy is a good thing to talk about. So it's like this home for people to go
Pray the gay away.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, they're like a conversion camp.
People go there because like they think they're sent there because like other people like Betty gets sent there at some point because like her mom thinks she's doing wrong and she's not. Yeah, like it's really odd. They're like putting things in your head that shouldn't be. Like
it's like rehab, but then you find out that they're rehabbing you to not be gay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very odd.
Or for other things too. I mean, like Polly obviously wasn't gay.
Yeah, so she got sent there just to get away from because Alice and Hal, Betty's parents, hated Jason Blossom for what he did to Betty to Polly, which eventually we find out is that she was pregnant with his kids. So that's why she got sent away to get away from Jason Blossom, which we'll kind of get into because we have the twists coming up. That's right. I have all that written down.
It's one of those places that like brainwash you to make you think you're crazy when you're not.
Absolutely.
And then act like they're treating you for your craziness.
Brainwash is the perfect word.
They give you pills. And it's like,
yeah. So we talked about it a little bit. There's a lot of relationships in the show. Jason and Polly, so season 1. Jughead and Betty, Archie and Veronica, and Fred and Hermione. So Archie's dad ends up with Veronica's mom for a little bit before like Hiram comes back into town. So that was a little swing. She just needs money and is helping out, she swears. There's a lot of twists in the show, and we're going to dive into the finale. So Archie and Miss Grundy, you want to go into what happens with them?
In terms of
everything. Season 1, hit it.
Oh, okay, so like we said, she's into younger boys, he's into music, they have this connection over music, and then they start banging each other, for lack of a better term, but, Archie swears he's in love because he's young and with good intentions, and they were together the day that Jason was killed. And they have to keep this whole thing a secret, so they have the secret relationship that eventually... How do they find out?
I don't remember how they find out. I think Archie tells Betty,
and I think Betty tells her parents.
Yeah, and then Alice dives into everything.
And then so basically they like swarmed the teacher and ran her out of town.
Yeah.
So she kind of disappeared from there.
Yeah.
They had a relationship, and
then eventually she dies in season 2. She's
like
with another kid, and all of a sudden.
But that's almost like irrelevant. It's not.
It didn't make sense.
Like her death isn't really
a big thing. Yeah. But the whole thing, a lot of things in the show get settled in one episode. Like, that was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Like, Archie told Betty told her mom, Miss Grundy, gone. Like, real quick.
Grundy's like, I'm leaving.
From YouTube to Instagram. So a big thing about Jason's murderer and death, the whole thing is who murdered Jason Blossom. Eventually, F.P. Jones, Jughead's dad, takes the fall. He was paid by the murderer, who we'll tell you at the end of the part of this. He was paid by the murderer to get rid of the body, throws it in the river, shows up on the river. Kevin finds it with this kid named Moose that they also go to high school with. FP gets into the person who killed Jason, comes into the prison to FP when he gets thrown in jail, which breaks Jughead's heart because the whole time Jughead and FP, like, FP wants Jughead to come home, but FP can't stop drinking. And then this happens, and Jughead goes to visit FP in jail, and it's so odd because we didn't get into the relationships enough. We'll go back. So it's super important. Super important.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have just read them off. Anyways,
it's a lot to cover.
So the way FP is talking to Jughead knows, like, my dad didn't do this. Somebody is setting him up, and that's exactly what you find out happens. The murderer goes in and he says, I'm going to kill your son if you don't take the fall for Jason's death. So FP tries to take the fall. Eventually, the core four figure out who did it, or, well, they get the video on who did it. They see the whole thing. And FP has a lot to do with, like, destructing the evidence. He burns a car they find where Jason was actually going to go, and the whole time you find out that Jason is going to go away from everybody with Polly and run away to have their kid, which turns out to be twins. And Cheryl is okay with this, but then you find out that the murderer finds out, doesn't want it to happen, takes Jason and kills him. So FP takes the fall for a while. Yeah, you'll find out that FP doesn't do it. Jughead eventually goes home. He goes home before that, actually, to the trailer and, like, kind of cleans up the place from what FP left it. And when FP goes home, I think it's like a slap in the face or like a time to wake up and realize what's going on in life, like to have a relationship with your son. So that's that. We're going to go back to the relationships. We have to. So I just did Jason and Polly. Jughead and Betty. They call it Bughead. They suddenly kiss in episode 5, which you're just not expecting. Like, Jughead grabs her face and pulls her in, and you're just like, whoa. And then Betty acts like it doesn't even happen. She says to him, the car. And he goes, that's what you're thinking about with our first kiss? That's the exact line, just so you know.
I don't remember that scene specifically, but...
You know how I like tell you about weird videos to watch on your lunch break?
Yeah.
Go on YouTube and just type in Bughead, and you can watch like an hour of great videos. It's incredible. But yeah, so kind of like the scum kid of the school gets with like the peppy girl.
But he's not scum.
Right. That's the thing. That's the thing. They're perfect.
He's perceived as scum because he's from where he grew up. You know, he's got that. Everybody's like, oh, he's a trailer park dumpster kid. And
yeah.
he's not.
Not at all.
He's got the best heart. He's the best friend, loyal, smart.
Loves Betty Cooper.
Yeah.
And they go on, so like he becomes a big part of, he's like Betty's sidekick. She's trying to solve these things, and he's very good at like he narrates the story like we told you, but he's very good at I wouldn't call it note taking, but like what do you call it? Like she's the reporter, he finds her what to write about kind of, and like helps her out with it. Like he gets down and dirty and he gets her the information. He's like her PI. Archie and Veronica, they literally play 7 Minutes in Heaven in the first episode. Archie goes and dates like a couple of the girls at the show. Eventually him and Veronica will end up.
Yeah, I don't really know how they connect.
I don't remember how they got
like
together.
Betty and Jughead, obviously, they're like, you know, two investigative journalists together. So like they kind of bond over that. Mm-hmm. Archie and Veronica, they just like get themselves into trouble and like help themselves get out of it. Like that, like, you know, it's more like Betty and Jughead help solve problems, and Archie and Veronica create them. Mm-hmm. And that's the best way I can think of it.
Good call. So we'll leave you at that for those two. That was our relationship thing. Eventually we'll get into more of it. So the season, I see the season finale or the episode before where Cheryl...
I don't think you find out what happens to Jason in season 1.
You do.
You do?
Yeah, because the Black Hood is how season 1 ends.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be.
I thought they kind of like pick up on it again in season 2.
Kind of happens with the Black Hood that way. Like you find out who it is, but he's still in the season 3. She goes and visits him. But anyways, so you find out that Cliff Blossom, Jason and Cheryl's dad, killed his son Jason. Because what you'll find out is that Jason found out that the maple syrup thing was just a cover-up for a heroin deal. He was smuggling drugs, and it was this whole big thing. So he was going to tell everybody about what happened, Jason, and then he decided, oh, I'll just leave instead because his dad's a psychopath.
Look at the flowers, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the Core 4 find a video, and they see the killer. They watch the whole thing, and they turn him in. Cliff Blossom ends up hanging himself, right?
Yeah.
In the garage.
So the police are coming for him.
Yeah.
And then when they find him, he hung himself. Yeah, in the barn. So
Cheryl gets all torn up about it. Betty calls Cheryl when she finds out about the video, and Cheryl goes and decides, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to be with Jason. and she goes and like stands on the same lake that's frozen over now because it's the winter time that Jason died in, and the core four are running and they see her, and she just waves to them and she goes under the ice. And Archie Andrews, man, he goes over there and he punches a hole through that.
Yeah. Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Breaks his hand and everything, and he pulls Cheryl out and she survives. So that like kind of binds her into their core four for a little while. And then the two ways the seasons end. So the season ends great. Make Me a Believer by Imagine Dragons. Everybody's getting laid. So that was my other question. Oh my god, I remembered it now. I can't remember the person's name. So Archie and his dad go to Pop's for dinner, and they're like, oh, problem solved, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, they're paying for dinner at Pop's. They turn, and there's a gun pointed at Fred Andrews, and a gunshot goes off, and you try to find out that Fred Andrews was shot. So now Archie gets all whacked up. That'll go into season 2. And then with Jughead, this is after Archie and Veronica finally get together in bed. And at the same time, Jughead brings Betty home, and all of a sudden they get a knock on the door, and they get freaked out, and they don't get to get in bed together. And it's the Serpents who FP's dad ran, and FP never ratted out the Serpents, so they swear to look after Jughead until FP gets out. And they make him a Serpent, and he puts the jacket on. They give him FP's old bike, and it's this whole big thing, and it scares Betty because she's like, oh my god, my boyfriend's going to be in a gang now. So these guys look out for Jughead. And that gets big in season 2. And yeah, that's season 1. So now we're just going to get you guys to the rest of the 2 seasons, still giving out spoilers. A couple new characters come in, we'll do our trivia, and we're out of here. So season 2 literally takes off where season 1 ended. Black Hood shoot the guy. So season 1 was Who Murdered Jason. The second season is all about the Black Hood. That's the name of the villain.
Who is the Black Hood?
Who is the Black Hood? They want to know who it is. They got to figure it all out. So storyline, Fred Andrews gets shot. Jughead starts to attend Southside High.
That's in season 2?
Yep, because that's where he'll meet the other Serpents with Tony and...
Why did they move Jughead again? Is it because they lost the...
So Riverdale started having problems, and because of where he lived on the south side of the train tracks, so he was supposed to go to school on Southside High.
Okay.
So he goes there. Betty gets pissed. Her, Archie, and Veronica go to get him. Betty just wants him to be okay. He ends up going to school with a bunch of other Serpents. So he's got the jacket on, but he's not actually a Serpent yet. This is where he'll go through his initiation.
No, he's like an honorary Serpent.
Yeah, just because of who his dad was and because of who he said he is. So who were the other guys? Sweet Pea, Tony. These are Serpent members. There's a couple others. They become big. Tall boy. That was the answer to one of my questions. I was going to tell you who knocked on Jughead Jones to ruin his first time with Betty. It was Tall boy. Big part of so it was actually Jughead in the Southside High. So he's kind of getting into fights at school. He's not getting along with anybody, and he's going to finally go through being a Serpent. I'm just making sure it's on here. I haven't.
Yeah, he goes through the trials.
Hiram returns. Hiram Lodge. Veronica's dad shows up. He's got tons of money. He wants to buy Pop's chocolate shop. He wants Hermione to run for mayor. He's just corruptive. Wants to corrupt the whole town. Pretty much wants to buy Riverdale for his own. Eventually, he'll buy Southside High, and he turns it into a jail. The whole thing gets nuts.
Low key, he's one of my favorite characters.
He's a good character.
Like, I don't usually like bad guys. Like, I'm always like, oh, I like the good guys. So I like Archie. Archie's the man. But, like, no, I like something about Hiram. Like, he's a good bad guy. Like, he's a bad guy. Like, you're just so, like...
You want to see him go away, but you want him to stay on the show.
Yeah.
Like, you want him to be in trouble, but you want to see him on the show.
I don't know if it's just, like, his name or, like, he's just, like... he always has a plan. There's always something. He's always, like, a step ahead. And
him and Mija.
Yeah, Mija. And it just... That whole family's, like... they're
wacky.
Yeah. I know. It's cool.
Yeah. Archie's mom will return because Fred is kind of out of commission for a little while, so Molly Ringwald
She's a lawyer, too, so I think
she's helping out with all that, and she helps out with FP.
Yeah.
Getting FP out for a while there. Archie eventually gets a gun from somebody in school.
Yeah, he gets it from Dilton.
Oh, that's right. Nice call. And he just, like, sits at the front door every night waiting to see if the Black Hood shows up at his house because he wants to find out who did this and he wants to protect his dad. He he becomes a better good guy, Archie. Like, he was good. Like, now he's just better good. Weird.
Yeah.
Now he's
But
protective.
He gets good to the point where he's too good.
Yeah.
Bad. You know, like, what did they say? You don't live long enough to be the villain or something. To see yourself, like,
Harvey Dent.
Live long enough to see yourself be the good guy, or the hero.
Yeah.
But don't live long enough to become the villain or something.
Yeah.
That's basically Archie.
If you live long enough, you see yourself become the villain. Something like
whatever the line is, like,
yeah.
That Archie, like, he eventually, like, he just gets mixed up with the wrong crowd because he just keeps going.
And Hiram just gets him thrown under the bus.
He gets involved with Hiram through just dating Veronica. Mm-hmm. And, like, yeah.
Yeah, so what happens is, okay, so Jughead and the Serpents. So F.P. Jones, Jughead's dad, was the leader of the Serpents. Jughead decides he wants to be a Serpent. Betty isn't super fond of it because he told her she wasn't going to do it. In order to become a Serpent, there were a lot of things he had to do.
There were 6.
Yeah, there were laws he had to, like, scream out while people were yelling at him. They hung out at this bar called, you know what it was called?
The White Horse?
The White
Horse, White Pony.
It was an animal. It was a bug. The White.
Did you ever was a horse?
Yeah, positive. The White Worm.
White Worm.
That's what it was.
But like crossing out the Prancing Pony.
Yeah. From Lord of the Rings. So eventually, Jughead does become a Serpent. He becomes their leader. We'll get into, which is cool because they kind of leak it to you the whole show that this can happen. But Jughead doesn't realize that his final test is literally to get his shit kicked. Like, he's got to walk down a lot of all these Serpents,
and they all just punch him in the gut.
Yeah. And he gets up at the end and smiles, and this kid Sweet Pea is pissed, and he's like, well, you're in. And it's funny because Archie was the character I think you thought was going to be the strong one, and then he does become that, of course. But Jughead, like, really steps it up. Like, Jughead gets his shit kicked, like, multiple times in season 2.
Archie's way stronger physically. Archie,
absolutely.
I think Archie goes through, in season 3, and just in general, like, he goes through more physical torment, I think, than Jughead.
Except for in season 2. Season 2 is the episode I told you when you watched this episode.
Yeah, but Archie could probably do that 3 times in a row.
Probably.
Jughead is more, I feel like
Jughead shows his toughness. Fortitude. Yeah.
He's like
Jughead isn't this guy who could take a physical beating, and he proves, like, all right, he can take it.
I think it's more mental than physical. I think
that's fair.
Like, he wanted it, so like he took all those hits, and like he just couldn't endure mentally anything.
Yeah. So Archie starts working for Hiram, doing, like, little things. He's basically like a bodyguard for the bodyguards.
He's a bitch boy.
Making sure he gets paid, and eventually he sends out this video looking for the Red Hood for the Black Hood with the rest of his friends, and they make a video as, are they the Red Hood gang?
No, the Red Circle.
The Red Circle.
Yeah.
So they put out this video, and Hiram is like, this is perfect. He's basically setting Archie up for disaster. You'll find out at the end of the season.
Kind of totally Archie on.
Yeah.
To, like, his bad ideas.
Because he sees that Archie is vulnerable. He wants to figure out who shot his dad, but at the same time, Hiram is like, oh, well, I'm going to help you, but it's also helping myself. He's very selfish along the way. So the Red Circle comes through. Eventually, Betty starts getting phone calls from the Black Hood telling her all these things to do. So she's supposed to report certain things in her paper. She has to break up with Jughead at one point, which is an absolute devastating episode. Because she tells Archie, you have to go break up with Jughead for me. And it's like, whoa. And at one point, Jughead says to her, that's worse than getting a text. Which I thought was very funny and comical. Thankfully, they all stayed together, the core 4, for a while.
She didn't tell anybody that she was getting these calls, too.
Right. She kept it all to herself. She never even told Jughead. So it was mentally breaking her down.
She was on the phone once, and Jughead said, oh, who was that? And she goes, my dad.
Mm-hmm. Odd, right?
Real odd.
Eventually, the Black Hood disappears. They have you think that he was killed. But
they don't have you think. They show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So eventually he shows up. He's, like, burying Archie. He tells
Betty to bury Archie alive.
After they dug the grave.
That was, like, the original sin.
Yeah. That's right. That's what it was all about. Yeah.
Yeah, because whoever, way back in the day, like Cheryl's grandpa. Or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right.
But yeah, so they bury that the killer alive. No, not the family. There's a killer who killed the family of 5.
Yeah.
And then they buried the killer alive, but it ended up not actually being killer.
Yeah, because they dug up the grave and there was nobody there.
Well, they buried an innocent man.
That's what it was. Yeah.
The killer was actually
season 2 was so good.
Yeah, there's so many. The killer was actually Cheryl's.
That was boring at times, but it was good. Yeah. And it's funny because in the season at one point there's like a kind of creepy episode. The Black Hood tells Betty he'll finally meet her, and he tells her to go to this house. And there's a mirror, and he goes, "Look in the mirror," and she's petrified. And you're like, "Oh my god, we're gonna see who it is," and it's herself, which I think was also kind of cool.
Yeah, and she's like, he says we're the same.
Yeah, we're the same. Eventually, you find out it's her dad the whole time. It's Hal.
Black Hood is Hal.
I figured out like episode 4. I guessed it, found that I was right. He didn't figure it out until he showed it, or until he asked me.
Nope, I had a couple of people that I suspected.
The best thing was about it, you were talking about like you were trying to figure out all the alibis, and you just never found one for Hal, but you never suspected him.
I think I did. Like the thought of him went through my mind, but I just thought of Hal as so irrelevant.
Yeah,
because he really was. He was just a dad. He was just like Alice's bitch husband.
And that's the thing. Through the whole season, Alice didn't have problems because Betty's brother Chick, or so-called brother, his name is Chick, will come back into town.
You just didn't know his reasons. I thought it was Kevin's dad, the detective Keller.
Oh, the sheriff.
I thought it was the sheriff.
That'd been cool.
Just because the way his face was, because all you could see through that mask was the eyes and kind of like the face shape.
Yeah.
So like,
and Hal was a bigger guy, and at first the Black Hood.
I just thought the sheriff, because I thought the sheriff had green eyes too, and like they kind of made him seem like a suspect at first, but like not too deep. So I kind of like bought into that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So when they finally show, the Black Hood, who isn't Betty's dad, is set up for it, tells her bury Archie, so he has to get into this coffin already in the ground, and they get away. They hit the guy over the head, and he's chasing them. Archie has his gun and shoots him on a bridge, and then Sheriff Keller is right there. You turn to find out it wasn't the Black Hood, but for a couple of episodes, they had nothing to do with him, like they thought.
Well, he was doing the Black Hood's bidding. The Black Hood blackmailed this guy to do it. So that he wasn't doing it because he was bad. He was doing it because out of fear of the Black Hood.
No, absolutely. So during the meantime, this guy named the Sugar Man comes in. You described the Sugar Man to me today. Do you remember any of it?
Described him? I know who he was. So he was a teacher at Southside High. So
he was like the school reporter, right?
Yeah. So when Jughead ended up, because Jughead worked for the school newspaper, the Blue and Gold.
At Southside.
At Riverdale High.
Yeah, but didn't he go to Southside?
But when he went to Southside, he was interested in joining the school newspaper because he didn't know anybody, and that's just what he did.
Mm-hmm.
So their paper is called the Red and Black, but Southside is kind of like a bunch of like degenerates who like nobody really cares for things like extracurriculars like the school newspaper. So there's really nobody to run it. So there's this one teacher who's like, all right, fine, I'll let you do it. I'll be the advisor for it.
Mm-hmm.
And his one rule was no gangs and no drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because Jughead was the leader of a gang.
Yeah.
And the advisor was a drug lord.
Yeah.
So,
what was it called? Pop Rocks?
Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle. It looked like pixie sticks.
Well, no. Did he sell the Jingle Jangle? Because I thought after
there were two.
Because he eventually got caught. He went to jail, and the Black Hood killed him in jail.
Yeah.
But the Jingle Jangle is still being produced. Remember? They thought it was in Hiram's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because Hiram had to do with the Jingle Jangle. After it all.
Yeah, they were experimenting. Everybody's getting seizures. So,
that's right.
Hiram was involved. Yeah.
So much to happen in the show.
Too much. We're missing. We're like.
Yeah, we're probably skipping over a lot.
We're just giving quicks, and we've been talking about this for a while, but it's just there's a lot. So
eventually, while they're at
70-something episodes,
60 something, yeah. And there's only 3 seasons. The first season is short; it's like 13 episodes.
And then it's
the rest are 23. Yeah. So while Jughead attends Southside, he meets the Serpent. He meets his girl Tony. Tony becomes trouble. Him and her end up getting together a little bit. Eventually, her and Cheryl end up together, and you find out Cheryl is full lesbo. They have a really cool relationship because like Cheryl's got the money, Tony's got nowhere to go, so she moves in,
and they're both badasses.
Yeah, seriously, that's right. Tony is a cool character. So what happens is this gang called the Ghoulies come into town, and they're fighting the Serpents a lot, and they're like causing trouble, and the Serpent's getting a lot of the trouble that the ghoulies caused. So eventually Jughead says, all right, well, we got to figure out how to solve this and get you out of town. So the leader of the ghoulies is like, well, you're going to race me. So Jughead gets a car. He meets Betty because she's like a mechanic now, which is where they kind of talk for the first time after breaking up. And he's like, I really needed you and all this stuff. And she was like, just please be safe in your race. And she goes. And just before the race starts, Archie gets in Jughead's car. And Jughead is like, you don't have to do this with me. Like, we might get arrested. And he's like, oh, like, we're friends, friends to the end, whatever. Bad boys for life. And you find out that all of a sudden the ghoulie wins the race because Archie pulls the emergency brake on Jughead's car, and Jughead is flipping out.
No, the cops, they set him up.
On the other side of the bridge that had, like, the mist over it. So the ghoulie went through thinking he won because the bridge only fit one car. Archie pulled the brake because he called the cops. He set up the ghoulies.
Archie said that.
And he planned for... So he got the ghoulies out of town for Jughead. So now Archie is becoming, like, a good companion for the Serpents, which eventually
he fucked up though, because when the ghoulies come back, the ghoulies want revenge because of Archie.
And people get hurt and stuff. Yeah, that's right.
So now Jughead's all mad because, instead of letting... Jughead wasn't thankful.
Nah.
At the time.
Yeah, he was very stubborn.
Jughead was more upset because he knew, like, Jughead was trying to settle the whole feud between the Serpents and the ghoulies himself, and, Archie got involved and ended up causing more problems because now instead of just this one race, the ghoulies were out for blood now because they all got sent to jail.
Yeah. So that comes in at the end. This woman called Penny. Her last name starts with a P. Is it Peabody? That was my guess. So Penny comes in. She's like, she used to be a serpent. She never really got thrown out, but Jughead thinks she's bad news, and he goes to his dad, and FP says, you stay away from her, don't do anything for her. Him and Archie go and help her out. And now they owe her a debt, and that's like the worst thing you could do is owe Penny Peabody a debt.
She charges interest, basically.
Yeah, and it's just not good. Like, you have to owe her a favor again.
Yeah, like whatever she does for you, you have to like pay back in double.
Yeah, so Archie and Jughead get her out of town, and Archie literally takes his knife and he cuts the serpent tattoo off of her. Because that's something you do as a serpent is you get that S put on. We were talking about it before, real quick. Jughead's hat, he wears a beanie the whole show, is literally in the shape of a crown. And they always kind of let you on to know that Jughead would become what's called the Serpent King. And he does. He gets it. He almost loses it a little bit. We'll tell you why. Season 2 is a lot better than season... was it a lot better than season 1?
It's a lot longer.
A lot more happens.
It's hard to compare.
Yeah.
Because season 1, like, it's new, so you're kind of stoked on, like, the mystery of Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And season 2 is, like, twice as long. And... I wasn't crazy about the Black Hood.
Yeah.
But I think all the little stuff that happened around that, like Jughead becoming the Serpent King, and all those different things, like that kind of built up the story a lot. And like Hiram, like thickens. I think I was more invested in like Hiram coming in and developing his character than like the Black Hood. Like the Black Hood was kind of like meh. Mm-hmm. I watched Pretty Little Liars, and like I'm used to this whole who's the killer, who's the person terrorizing the town, and so like it was kind of like a been there, done that for me.
Gotcha. Cool. So makes sense though.
So I think season 1 was a little more exciting than season 2 for me, and season 3 I think was probably the best, in my opinion.
I liked season 3. Yeah, there was just a lot to it.
Yeah,
like I really liked the finale.
I think there are a lot more moving parts in season 3.
Absolutely.
I think season 2 just kind of seemed linear, like the Black.
Like you were guessing who it was the whole time, and then
it just like I said, it reminded me of the 7 seasons of Pretty Little Liars that I watched.
So FP decides he's going to retire from the Serpents. That was part of it. So Jughead throws him a party, but when he starts working for Penny, his dad literally at the thing gets up and he's like, I'm not leaving anywhere. And he tells Jughead, you did the one thing that could actually hurt me, and you did the one that I asked you not to. So FP stays a Serpent just to help protect Jughead, which becomes major, especially at the end of this season. I gotta stop folding this so he moves like this. Archie works for Harlem. Chick, Betty's brother, comes in. Weird freaking dude. Breaks up Alice and Hal. All Alice, Betty's mom, wants to do is take care of him. Betty suspects him to be dangerous. Eventually you find out he is dangerous. You find out he's not even her brother. The whole thing is crazy.
Yeah, apparently he killed her brother, didn't he?
Her brother shows up at the end of season 3.
Well, no, I know. But the story was the real Charles Smith died.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Did he overdose or kill himself?
Something along those lines.
They got in a fight.
He was like doing drugs.
No, they got in a fight. I think they were dating.
Okay.
Or something.
That sounds right.
But I think they got in a fight, and then it accidentally got too physical.
Okay.
And I think Chick accidentally killed, or the story went that he accidentally killed Charles.
Mm-hmm. Charles Smith. Yeah. Hermione runs for mayor, wins the electoral, all because Hiram wants her to. She actually beats Fred Andrews in the race. Archie's dad was going for. He just didn't have the support because Hermione had the money. So while Archie is working for Hiram, there's this guy named Agent Adams who keeps questioning Archie about Hiram, and Archie just won't give him any information. Finally, Hiram was like, this guy was hired by me. We're just making sure you don't leak any information out. There's a really cool episode where the core four go to like a vacation house for that Hiram owns. And they don't want anyone around. They don't want any security detail. But of course, Hiram sends one person without them knowing. Archie is like in the woods with Jughead. Who's there when those other kids show up? Because this leads to the end of season 2.
I thought they were there. They broke in while they were in there.
Oh yeah, so they go to a town, and then these guys came because they found out where they were living.
They follow Veronica and Betty.
Yeah, that's right. That's totally right.
Wow. I heard them talking about being rich and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she followed them, and they're like, "Oh, you rich people, think you're better than us, and we're just gonna take what we can from you." Yeah, that's why they broke in.
So they break in, and Archie tries to handle it on his own with Jughead, and he chases these guys out of the house. Agent Adams kills one or two of them.
What's his real name?
Agent Adams? Is that one of your questions?
No. I mean,
it wasn't even Agent Adams. It was the other guy, I think.
No, it was Agent Adams. It was like his lackey. I don't know the word they call it.
Yeah. But he kills them eventually, and Archie's like, holy crap. Andre, yeah.
He was their driver / bodyguard /
security detail. Yeah, here's
everything.
But that episode was really cool because like Betty and Jughead are finally like having sex because Betty's like kind of a prude person, it seems like at first. But Betty and Jughead are talking, and all of a sudden like you hear things squeaking, and it's obviously Veronica and Archie.
It's the headboard thumping.
Yeah. And then later on in the episode, it's vice versa. Archie and Veronica are talking, they're like, ew, gross, and it's the same thing. But it's obviously Betty and Jughead. Cool episode. We'll get to how that comes back around. So Jughead, Penny comes back into town with the ghoulies now, rather than the serpents. And I was telling Dylan for a long time, when you watch episode 22, you're going to get furious. Like, your body's going to feel something it's never felt before. And you just got to watch episode 23 right after the show. So, we only got 2 minutes left on Instagram, and we'll just reset it. So, Penny tells Jughead, like, I'm coming into town with the ghoulies, and we're going to take over, because, like, the serpents are outnumbered now. And she goes, unless you come to me. So he goes, he gets his ass kicked, and they leave you off to think that they killed him. He calls Betty, and he's like, it's great to hear your voice. I just wanted to say I love you. And Betty's standing next to Archie, and she's like, where is he? FP is now the sheriff after Sheriff Keller loses his position. And FP is like cleaning up the town as best as he can. Is this another home run? It is. Wow. So the episode ends where Jughead's tattoo is cut off, and FP is carrying him out of the woods.
Is he the sheriff at that point?
Yep.
Because we kind of skipped over the whole Sheriff Mineta thing.
Oh, I forgot about Mineta.
Because FP was appointed after Mineta.
Right, because Mineta was brought in by Hiram.
But he was also appointed by Hermione.
Right.
So, like, the lodges run the whole town to the point where they can appoint whoever they want the sheriff.
Yeah.
So, like, Mineta was one of Hermione's guys.
That's right.
Hermione was like, she had an affair with him or some shit. Remember? They were, like, in bed. So her and Mineta, I think, were actually plotting against Hiram
the whole time. Yeah,
the whole time.
Jesus, dude.
But that didn't really work out because I think Hiram caught on. Somebody caught on to Mineta. I don't remember if it was Jughead.
Yeah, I think so. He saw them together,
because
right?
Everybody thought he was Mineta was dead.
Yeah.
but he wasn't. He was like
He's like,
hiding.
damn, it's gonna cut you out. We're gonna bring you right back in. You just gotta click back on our live feed.
Yeah. But so eventually, I think Hiram takes care of Minetta. Mid-sentence.
Well, I don't want to be live. You want to request to be live? This is Harrison Show. Hey, we're back. Go on, back to Minetta.
Yeah, no, it's black. But,
Season 3 is quick.
yeah, so Minetta was basically hired by Hermione, who is the mayor, and she, obviously they had an affair. They were plotting against Hiram. They caught on. I think Hiram had one of his guys kill Minetta.
Yeah, because he found out about that, like you said.
And then I think they appointed FP.
Yeah, and that's how FP becomes sheriff.
Yeah, so he gets appointed by, I don't know if Hiram chooses him or...
Yeah, but I remember Hermione offers it to him, like talks to him about it. It was like a perfect setting for him.
Isn't it amazing having no formal training in police and just being the head sheriff?
Apparently.
Town?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
after Jughead is like almost presumed dead, he's out for like 3 weeks. The next episode starts off, he's alive, he's laying in bed with Betty and FP in a hospital. And FP is like, it's been 3 weeks. There was a big war between the Ghoulies and the Serpents in Riverdale. The football team got involved, like Reggie was involved. Sweet Pea gets shot.
No.
Somebody gets shot. Do you remember who? Yeah, I know.
One of my questions. I guess I could tell you, though.
No, don't tell me then. I'm going to try to think of the name now, so don't tell me. We'll bring it in on the end. You'll hear it. And yeah, the season ends where they're starting the next year of school, junior year, and all of a sudden the police show up at a pep rally and take Archie away for the death of the kid that... What's his name? Agent Adams' real name?
What?
Agent Adams. Andre, that Andre actually killed.
Yeah.
So it was all set up to be an Archie. And it's funny because now Hiram bought Southside High School, turns it into a prison, like a juvenile center, where Archie ends up going. So it just all got sick and twisted and all the same ways.
That's season 3, so now we're into season 3, right?
That's how season 2 ends. Season 3 is another one that starts right away. So it's cool because each season kind of follows itself. There's just like a time gap between all of it.
Yeah, it just picks up where season 2 left off. And
Exactly.
Archie's in jail. That's basically the juvenile detention center.
Archie's in jail. The new plot. So we did Black Hood. They reveal it's Betty's dad. Hi, Vanessa.
This is season 2.
Yeah. Season 3's plot is all about this game called Griffins and Gargoyles. A lot of cool episodes in this one.
G&G.
It's a game. It's literally like Dungeons and Dragons, I guess. Or it's not.
I never played it. Actually, just
I know.
but a guy from work invited me to join his D&D. He's starting to do a thing, so I'm
doing it.
Try it out.
Give it a shot. I'd like to try it. Never gotten to.
Need an extra guy. I could always invite you.
But this game, I don't know how to play it, but I'm trying.
Neither do I. I'm gonna learn. It's like a walkthrough.
So it's a game where there's these roles you play, and there's like a gargoyle king, and there's a game master, and there's all this other stuff. And like depending on your role, you can only do so many things, and like you can't play unless you're invited. And like there's a club. It's in like a sewer pipe.
It's very like a secret thing.
It's very culty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And what's funny is, what's not funny, what's crazy is in this season, a lot of the students die. So a lot of them, like the game will tell you, oh, pick a cup, and there's 2 cups there.
Chalices,
chalices. Yeah, I couldn't think of what it was called. I was going to call them wine glasses. And it's like, drink one. One is poisoned, one is not. And it makes like their lips turn blue. I can't remember what it's called.
It's blue. It's like blue Gatorade. Like it's blue Powerade mixed with a poison called cyanide.
Okay.
So they mix cyanide. No, cyanide isn't blue. It's like blue Gatorade. Blue. No, the drink is blue. They call it. It's
Yeah, but I think cyanide is.
They don't call it no. Cyanide is just the poison.
Okay.
But
He's probably right.
No, what do they call it? Mixed with. It's like blue Kool-Aid. I forget what they call it in the show. It's like a knockoff Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Fresh-Aid.
Is that what it is?
It's blue Fresh-Aid.
You could be right.
Yeah, so the drink is blue Fresh-Aid.
Okay.
Like Kool-Aid, but cyanide is what's mixed in it. So it's blue because it's like blue Kool-Aid.
Okay.
So, but cyanide, it's just a poison.
Yeah, so
it's
the game literally ends where it's like, oh, you drink this and win, and you drink this and die. And the students do it, and a lot of them die. A lot of them get sick. It's crazy.
But some of them want to because they want to ascend.
Right, you gotta ascend to meet the Gargoyle King.
But you have to drink the chalice in order to move on either to the next level or to ascend. So these guys want to do that.
Well done. Eventually, Hiram buys Pop. Pop takes Chocolate Shop, the diner that they all hang out at.
No.
Then Veronica buys it.
I thought Veronica buys it first.
Knowing that Hiram's going to buy it? Is that what it is? Anyway, she opens up like this club downstairs.
She's working off debt to him.
That's what it is.
Because he buys it and she wants to buy it from him because... So he bought it, but Pop was still like manager.
Yeah.
But so nobody knew that he bought it. Then they found out. She bought it and then like basically let Pop run it. I don't know. Because it's been in his family for 70 years.
Yeah. But anyway, so then Veronica opens up this club called Le Bon Nuit. It's like in the basement. Yeah. It's for all the students to go to. It's non-alcoholic. Like it's just a place for them to hang out. She has like the Pussycats perform there. She performs there. This kid Reggie works for her. Well, Archie's away because obviously Archie and her can't be together. He's in jail for a while. We'll get into what he does in jail. I have that at the end. For the first time... No, we gotta go to that now because I have this totally out of order. So Archie's in jail and he's bunked with this guy named Mad Dog. Mad Dog gets taken away nightly, and Archie doesn't know why. I gotta sneeze. You gotta keep going with this.
So Archie doesn't know why, or like Mad Dog also has a lot of like freedoms and liberties in the prison. Like he gets like special treatment.
I hate
and he doesn't know why either. So he doesn't know why anything's going on with Mad Dog, why he has all this stuff, where he goes, why like he's like the warden's pet, which turns out he basically is the warden's pet in an underground illegal fighting ring. So the warden and I guess like a bunch of other rich people have like this fight club where they all bet money on, and Mad Dog's a big dude, so he's a really good fighter, and like when you win, you get rewards. So there's a couple other guys from the prison, nowhere near as big or successful as Mad Dog. That's why Mad Dog had all this stuff. Like he had like books, he had bookshelves, comfortable beds, food, whatever you wanted. So eventually Mad Dog disappears. And Archie doesn't know why. But it turns out the warden works for Hiram. Well, obviously he works for Hiram because I think Hiram opened the thing. And so Hiram has the warden take Archie and put him in this, basically this fight club.
Yep.
So Archie's now fighting for the warden in all these fights. Archie is a really good fighter. I don't know if we talked about how Archie got so good at fighting. I don't really know myself. I mean, obviously, the football background, but I know he got in a bunch of fights earlier on.
I think he gets into a fight in the prison, and they look at him and they're like, oh, this kid can fight.
So no, but I thought it was before the prison. I feel like Archie fights throughout the whole show, but...
Yeah.
Like, he fights serpents, he fights...
Ghoulies.
But he always fought for good. Like, he fought bad guys. Archie's tough. Yeah, so he learned how to fight.
He was very, very good. So where they fight, they learn that there's a sewer pipe underneath it because they're brought to like this pool that's drained out. And Mad Dog tells him you can get out. So they plan an escape. Where actually Vanessa, Veronica, and Reggie show up, and they see Archie fighting, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's him!" And
no, they showed up on purpose. That was planned. Because she was able to visit him in jail,
right? And so Kevin actually pulls out that pipe, right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think he's involved.
The pipe, but so Veronica goes because she's rich, and she pretends like she's one of the spectators,
like betting on the fight.
So she goes because there's like a secret password, but she uses the password the week before, not knowing the password always changes. But she sweet talks her way in, saying she was invited, like she belonged there, so she was able to get in, and then her and Kevin kind of caused a distraction during the fight.
Yeah.
So they weren't surprised. They went there on purpose, and then Archie went through the sewer pipes, and I think Betty met him on the other end.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And then they got away on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Remember they were chasing them through the motorcycle, and they ended up catching Kevin and was it Veronica?
Yeah.
They thought they were chasing Archie, and then when they finally cornered them, they found out it was Kevin. So Archie ended up getting away with Betty. and I don't know if it was Betty and Jughead or just Betty or.
The big problem with all this is now we're so out of order. Is where we're fixing your article, which is great. Archie has to skip town. He can't go back to Riverdale. He can't deal with Hiram anymore.
Yeah.
So he has to leave Veronica. Veronica and Reggie have a little thing for a while. And Jughead decides, hey, I'm going with you. Kind of keeps up with Betty a little bit here and there. Until finally, there's a lot of stuff going on. And FP is Archie and Jughead end up where Jughead's mom is with his sister Jellybean. And she's a little cruel and twisted. Toledo, that's right. Dude, you remember that? One of your questions, is that why?
No. I say it a million times in the show.
Yeah.
Toledo, going to Toledo.
Yeah.
Putting you on a bus to Toledo.
So FP and Jughead are like, all right, we got to return home because Jughead's mom calls and is like, hey, you got to go home. Like, you got to be with your dad. You can't live here with us. And she runs this, like, mechanic shop. It's weird. They do a lot of weird stuff, but she's got her own little family there.
No, it's her own little gang.
Yeah, it's a gang. It's not a family.
She's basically like the queen of these misfit kids.
Yeah.
They like steal tires and car parts. And...
Yeah. Eventually, she turns out because Penny Peabody comes back again, and Betty's mom, Jughead's mom, shit kicks her for hurting her son, which is awesome.
Yeah, Gladys ends up being like a badass, but then she turns into like
she's a good character with bad
sucks.
Intentions.
Yeah,
like at the end of it, she has to leave, and she leaves Jellybean, the sister, with them also.
Oh, she's bad. She ends up taking over the Jingle Jangle.
Oh, that's right, dude.
Oh no, Fizzle Rocks.
That's what it was called.
So Jingle Jangle was from the
Teacher.
Sugar Man, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like a new form of Jingle Jangle.
If I had the money to pay him for being on here, he'd be getting paid. I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, so then they ended up coming. So the Fizzle Rocks is what came back. I think that's what Hiram was doing. Or, was it Hiram? Or Hiram was doing the jingle. He was trying to continue the Jingle Jangle, and she came out with the Fizzle Rocks.
I can remember.
Either way, she was running the show with the Ghoulies, right?
She ended up being behind Will.
She ended up being behind the Fizzle Rocks and the Gargoyles. Didn't she run the Gargoyles?
She ran the Gargoyles.
Or the Gargoyles were doing the drug runs for...
Because eventually they stopped them. Yeah, Reggie stops them.
But I don't know, because I thought the Gargoyles were part of the So the Gargoyles weren't actually affiliated with the real Gargoyle King. So we kind of strayed away from the Griffins and Gargoyles and the Gargoyle King.
Yeah, we get back to it, though.
But the Gargoyles are basically a group of people who played Griffins and Gargoyles. But they were just so they called themselves the Gargoyles.
Yeah.
But they basically reported up to Jughead's mom, which was a huge secret, because she was having them run drugs.
Mm-hmm. Through Riverdale.
Her own, yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
So Jughead and his sister Jellybean kind of get back together, and towards the end of it, when FP tells the mom, he's like, Gladys, you can't stay here, like, you're no good for this town. She leaves Jellybean behind. So hopefully she'll be in season 4. We'll get some stuff out of her. She comes in at the end, big.
No, doesn't she leave in the end?
Jellybean?
Doesn't she fight? Oh, Jellybean.
Yeah, no, Jellybean stays.
I thought you meant the mom.
No, the mom leaves. She fights Penny.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. That's a badass fight.
Yeah, that was actually really good.
Yeah.
Betty is still talking to her dad as the Black Hood. She goes to talk to him. She tells him she doesn't want to, but he always has, like, he's very mean to her. Like, he always has something she wants because you have to come see me to get what you need or get the information you want. So she's going to the jail that he's in, sees him all the time, doesn't want to. It's just how it goes. In the end, he'll get out. We talked a lot about the lodges. Hermione starts to turn on Hiram, finally.
Yeah, because Hiram's...
He's bad news.
I wouldn't say he's abusive. He's just... she's with him more out of fear.
Yeah.
Because I think because he was her protection. Remember she said,
money,
like, once a mob family or there's a divorce, she becomes some kind of fish. Remember that?
No.
Remember she ends up getting the dead fish as a threat?
Yeah. So
when a mob wife or a mobster divorce, she loses all her protection.
Wow.
And she loses something about a fish.
Okay.
So then when Hiram either goes to jail or things between them get rocky, she gets that fish, which I think Veronica sent.
Oh, yeah.
To scare her mom.
Holy crap.
Yeah, Veronica sent it. But so Hermione got really scared that, like, one of the other mob families were going to come and kill her. Because she did a lot of Hiram's bidding. So obviously she had enemies herself. But, once her and Hiram were no longer together, she lost Hiram's protection. Therefore, they can go after her with no ramifications. So that's why she stayed with Hiram for protection. Yeah. But then she started to fear Hiram,
right?
Because Hiram was using that, as leverage and advantage to make her do things that were kind of unethical.
Which also just helped push Veronica away from him, because Veronica goes totally against Hiram, especially for sending Archie away. That was a big thing.
Well, she didn't like Hiram, because Hiram was pushing Archie away. He was mistreating her mom because she really loves her mom. And I still struggle to see where Hermione's intentions really are.
No, maybe we'll find out.
You want to feel bad for her, but at the same time, does she actually want this?
Yeah.
Exactly. She kind of puts a lot of good people in bad situations.
Yeah.
But she does what she has to do. But yeah, so eventually they put Hiram away. I don't remember where Hermione ends up in the end. Season 3.
I want to say she's still the mayor, because Hiram gets locked up.
No, but I thought somebody was threatening her with collusion. Because they bought the movie theater, they bought the school, the whole thing with the prison. I know Mayor McCoy got ran out because they knew about her affair with Sheriff Keller.
Mm-hmm. Who get married.
Hermione, yeah. I feel like somebody was coming after her. It might have been Jughead's mom.
I don't remember, to be honest.
All the parents kind of had
enemies,
or maybe it was Archie's mom. I don't know. I can't remember, but I think somebody was going after Hermione also.
Let's finish, then we'll go into Luke Perry.
Yeah.
So we got that. So the Pretty Poisons show up. This is a new gang started by Cheryl and Tony, who went up together.
Yeah, the girls got kicked out of the Serpents.
That's what it was.
I don't remember why. Was it the school? No.
Maybe because they were not allowed to wear their jackets anymore and all this other stuff. Yeah. Something along those lines.
Yeah, right. So Cheryl and Tony went off and they made the Pretty Poisons.
Which now gives less members to the Serpents, so when things go down.
Yeah, they just, they took a whole bunch of girls, whatever girl Serpents there were. I think I don't know if they took some of the Vixens.
Mm-hmm. Betty eventually tries to become a Serpent. Or she does.
No, she does. Betty never actually becomes a Serpent.
She does that strip dance.
She does the dance, but I don't think that actually initiated her.
Yeah.
I think she's an honorary Serpent.
Yeah, probably, for being a Jughead.
I think she's like an honorary Serpent.
That's fair. That's right. I have a post up about that.
Yep.
The Sisters of Quiet Mercy come back in. Chad Michael Murray, big character.
No, he's the farm.
He takes over the Sisters of Quiet Mercy. They all leave to go with him.
The sisters. Yeah.
He tells them all to ascend.
Yeah.
So he runs this thing called The Farm, where Betty's sister and mom go. His name is Edgar Everett.
The Farm is another cult.
Yeah.
So
and he's just taking all these people who don't know any better with him and convincing them to join his thing. And it is a cult, 100%, like you said.
They also drug them. Yep. More drugging, they use this gargoyle statue. Mm-hmm. So they use the whole...
They try getting Betty into it. She gets out.
So I don't think they're actually affiliated with Griffins and Gargoyles or the Gargoyle King, but I think they used the fear of the Gargoyle King to...
That's what it was.
Against people. So they had the statue of the gargoyle, but then they drugged people and made them look at it and they thought, they would hallucinate. So I think they just instilled fear in them.
Yeah.
And then they pretended to fix them.
Danny G. Eventually, you find out who the Gargoyle King is, because you ran this by me before.
The chick.
Right, so it's the brother chick.
Yeah, so I don't think we talked about how the Black Hood, or Betty gave up Chick to the Black Hood. So the Black Hood wanted Chick back in season 2, and he wanted Betty to give him up. So Betty did eventually give him up, but I think they gave him a head start, and the Black Hood went after him, and when he caught him, he saw potential in Chick. So Chick
was a freak.
Yeah, Chick was bigger. So the Black Hood, Betty's dad, ended up sparing Chick, and then you kind of don't see him for a while, and he ends up becoming the Gargoyle King at the hands of, I guess I'll go ahead and say it, Penelope Blossom, who was also kind of the ringleader for the Black Hood. Also,
so Cheryl's mom now is behind the whole thing.
Yeah,
her and Hal had a thing. Betty's dad. It was weird. And yeah, it all gets turned around. That's how it goes. Archie and the Mad Dog end up like Veronica hooks them up like this boxing place. So they like work out there and they get their rounds in there.
Yeah.
And they finally figure out how to set up Hiram Lodge. So Archie says to him, "You and me need to fight. If I win, you leave me alone. If I lose, I'll go back to your prison," or something like that. Along those lines. So Archie is fighting while people are like storming Hiram's house. What do they find? Do you remember? Veronica set up her dad completely and beautifully. Hiram got distracted. He was kicking the crap out of Archie. It was an awesome fighting match. And Archie needed the time.
What were they setting up?
Probably the fizzle pops.
Drugs?
Yeah.
Because they were moving the drugs out of the prison.
Yeah. I think
they moved them to...
I think that's how it all turned around.
I don't know where the prison for drugs.
Either way, Hiram gets taken away because he looks at Archie and he's like, this is it, like, his, whatever he says, and he threatens him with his final punch. And Archie was like, "It's all right, though, because I distracted you long enough." And he's like, "For what?" And all of a sudden the cops come in. Like, Hiram Lodge are under arrest for whatever it is. And he realizes that Veronica set him up with Archie. Archie took the ass kicking of a lifetime. Really cool episode. Really cool twist with that one also.
We never brought up Nick St. Clair.
God, who is Nick St. Clair? I don't even remember who that is.
The rich dude from Veronica's Past from New York.
Oh my God, that
blackmailed her. He tried to rape
her.
He drugged her. Yeah. And then he tried to do it to Cheryl. Cheryl?
Yeah.
So he was with Veronica the night before.
Kicks his ass for going after Cheryl.
No, he didn't drug Veronica. He tried to get with Veronica. She turned him down. Then he drugged Cheryl.
Then she agreed to get with him, so he would leave Archie alone.
Yeah, and then Archie broke his nose.
Yeah, Archie breaks out of chains to get to her. Remember that?
So who ended up breaking his legs? Hiram's guys? Did they tell Hiram?
Oh yeah, eventually she tells Hiram.
And then so he sends his guys in.
Nick St. Clair.
They pretended it was a ski accident, but then because he comes back in season 3, and he does some blackmailing.
I think he was only in season 3.
No, he was.
Really? I think he was only in season 3.
No, I think he was introduced in season 2. Maybe it was season 3. But so then Archie punches him. Archie gets beat up by him and his boys. They have him in the chair.
2 eyes.
I don't want to say he's relevant, but
he's another
supporting character. He's another one of those.
He comes in when you don't want. He's one of those characters again that you don't want him to be there because every time he's there, something bad happens.
Yeah, he's from another mob family. So Hiram has to take care of that family. Pay them off. And
right.
But then Nick St. Clair gets involved with. Oh no. Who is the other the rich guy? The blonde? Who wants to pay Archie to lose?
Wasn't that the
And
warden?
He gives the guy the water shit. It's
wasn't
drugs.
the warden or something?
No. The gambling dude. The guy who wants to gamble with Veronica and he tries to pull a fast one on Veronica. And she's like, the house always wins and pulls a fast one on him.
Yeah.
That's not Nick St. Clair.
Oh, yeah, no.
Nick St. Clair is the dude.
I know exactly who you're talking. I can see him. I'll never. If you said his name, I wouldn't know.
The blonde guy.
Alex.
Sure. But so he is the boxer who Archie ends up killing, I think. Or he knocks him out or something. Oh, he does kill him.
He kills him, but because of the drugs.
Yeah.
And the mom comes after his family, comes after Archie, and
Yeah.
That was crazy. Dude, you got it. Holy crap.
But I don't know if Hiram was involved in. No, he wasn't. I don't know if that was just a side story then.
No, yeah, you're good though.
I don't remember how the little things all tie in together with that whole boxing thing. But.
Before we get into the final part of it, because it was really cool, we'll get into this thing at the end of this season when all is said and done. So Jughead and FP and Betty's and Alice, so Jughead's dad and Betty's mom had a kid who was the brother who was deemed to be Chick.
Back in high school.
Yeah. Because there's an episode that goes back and it's the parents doing the same thing, playing G&G with these kids are. And that was a really cool episode.
Yeah.
Because all of the younger cast played their parents in that episode. It was
that
really,
was
really cool. So you find out that they played G&G, and that's how it all started. It was weird. They started the club for it and everything.
Who played Hiram?
Wow.
I don't think it was anybody relevant. I don't even know if you saw him.
He might have been in it. Dude, we should watch that episode. Anyways, we find out that FP and Alice had a son. And it turns out he shows up at the end of the season, so he's technically Jughead's half-brother and Betty's half-brother. And he works for like the FBI or something, and he's trying to find out something for a case. He wants to find Edgar.
Well,
and find out about the farm. You're right.
So we kind of skipped a lot of details. So throughout season 3, Alice, Betty's mom, is pretty much brainwashed by this farm cult that Polly somehow joined. But in the end, you find out when this Detective Smith, or from the FBI, comes in and says,
"Is his name really Smith?"
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they put him up for adoption.
Okay.
So he was raised by Smiths.
Okay, yeah.
That was like his adopted family.
I wouldn't remember the name.
Yeah. So he comes back. He's like, "I'm Charles Smith. I'm Alice Cooper's son." So she was insider knowledge. They said they've been tracking down Edward Evernever, the leader of the farm, because we didn't talk about what he actually does. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So the farm actually, when they were drugging these people, they were stealing their organs. They were doing procedures on them to make them feel good.
Totally forgot that too.
Yeah, so they would drug these people and said, "We need to do a procedure to like cleanse you or something," but they were actually stealing these people's organs illegally and selling them on the black market. So, anyways, that's why the FBI has been tailing them. And this guy Charles shows up, knocks on Jughead's door, because Jughead buys Betty's house.
Oh my God, that's right.
Well, no, Jughead's mom buys it with her drug money.
Yeah.
But and basically he sits down Jughead and Betty and says, "I'm Charles Smith. Alice Cooper is my mom, and she's my insider knowledge on getting Edward Evernever." And I think he said he was looking for Alice.
Yeah.
But Alice she went with them because everybody ascended at the end. And sorry, I'm kind of jumping around a lot.
No, because it's hard because there's like little things I haven't put on here. So everything I said that you added to, I didn't put that.
So he basically said the story that, Edward Evernever's bed, we're the FBI, we've been following them, we almost had them 2 towns ago, and when we found out they were here, we had Alice as an insider person. So Alice being all culty and weird the whole season was fake. Yeah. She was helping her real son, Charles, with his FBI investigation.
Sick twists.
So that was a big twist. It's also kind of weird because you think Charles is the son of Alice and FP. So Betty and Jughead are dating,
and he's the half brother.
But he's the half brother of both of them. Yeah. So they share a brother, even though they're not.
But they don't share parents.
No, they're not blood relatives. But they share a half brother.
There's 3 people involved or 4 people involved. It's a square, and it goes in every direction.
But they don't really go into it. So you kind of have question marks around this Charles Smith. You don't know if he's real or not.
No, exactly.
We'll
find out. I hope.
So you don't know if at the end Alice kind of snaps because she went from not caring about Betty to being involved with the farm to where's Betty? I have to find Betty.
Yeah.
But she didn't actually ascend because Edward Evernever, they knew everybody was catching on.
Yeah, they had to emergency leave. They had to evac.
Yeah, so he was like, "We have to go." So what he did was have everybody ascend, everyone from Riverdale that was part of the farm, the Sisters of Quiet Mercy, and so we all have to ascend. By ascending, they drank poison or whatever, and they all died. So he skipped town with his wife, and I think Alice.
And his wife played a student in the high school.
Yeah, so a few core members of them skipped town to go do the farm elsewhere while running from the FBI. But I think he ended up taking Alice with him.
That's your prediction?
Well, yeah, because she was with him. The last scene, she's saying, "Where's Betty? Where's Betty?" And he explained to Alice what was actually going on. So I think because Alice knew too much, he took her with them.
Okay.
So I think that's where Alice is, and that's where Charles Smith is we need to find Alice.
Yeah.
That's my mom. We need to find Edward Evernever. We need to find out where this farm went.
Yeah, cool, man. Good call. So the way that season ends, the core 4, Jellybean, Jughead's sister, gets taken. So they have to find her because they want her to play Griffins and Gargoyles with some other little boy who tricks her into playing. Jughead gets there in time. She ends up drinking the chalice. Yeah. And then the core four have to play the game. So pretty much each of them have to do something that they've already done or that's like something they have a problem with. So Archie...
about the last challenges?
Yeah.
That was Penelope Blossom.
Right, after she comes out as the Gargoyle King.
Yeah.
So she makes them pretty much...
Well, that was like their end game. Like they played through and once they eventually found out who was who...
I don't remember what anyone had to do besides Archie.
Archie had to fight the Bear Man.
Yeah.
So Archie's challenge was to physically fight.
Because like I said, earlier in the season, he gets attacked by a bear.
Yes.
So he has to fight the Bear Man who like beat him up really good.
He becomes like a ranger when he skips town.
On like the woods of...
Yeah, and then he gets mauled by a bear, but also because he's a boxer, he fights people. So that was like his challenges. He has to overcome this Bear Man. Huge dude like on
that he shouldn't have beaten, he did.
So he beat this guy. Betty and Veronica basically had like this true friendship and like false friendship thing where they had to drink from the challenges. They're basically playing Russian roulette with the challenge, the chalices of cyanide. So I think Betty has to drink, and Veronica takes one for Betty and goes, "No, I'll drink it for you." You know, so
Veronica would have something.
No, well,
because one of them gets sick. And it's like carry. Yeah.
So Veronica offers to drink the poison for Betty because Veronica drank a good one, and then so Penelope was like, "Okay, you pass." Like true friendship. Like she was actually truly giving up her life for Betty at that point. And then they're like, "Oh, so I guess none of the chalices were poisoned." Turns out it was slow-acting poison. Mm-hmm. So the only way to get the antidote was to finish all the challenges.
Right.
So they had to finish these challenges faster to get the antidote. Yeah. So that was their thing, was like playing Russian roulette with each other, and Veronica having to, be a true friend because, the whole time Veronica and Betty had some falling outs that we didn't really get into.
Right.
Jughead's challenge was he had to fight the Gargoyle King. He was sick. Remember that? Jughead had to fight Chick, and he eventually gets the rock, and he knocks Chick out with the rock.
I remember that.
Crazy. So he was losing. Like Chick was obviously beating Jughead because Jughead is so small, and I think like Archie distracts Chick for like 2 seconds or something. I don't remember what happens, and Jughead gets a stone and he smashes Chick over the head with the rock and knocks him out.
Wow.
So then they move on to the last challenge, which is Betty's challenge. So I think that challenge with the chalices was Veronica's challenge. Okay. Because it was about true friendship. Yeah. And Veronica had to prove herself as a true friend.
Okay.
So Betty's challenge was she had to face her dad in a standoff. They both had a pistol with one shot. And basically whoever shot first.
Dude.
So they had a standoff.
Season 3 was the best.
Yeah. So Betty's challenge, they had a standoff. And Betty ended up shooting her dad, but she didn't kill him. Yeah. She shot him in like the arm.
And said like I still did it.
And so I guess she technically won that challenge because she shot. But then
because they saved Veronica.
Yeah, they got the stuff. So the Black Hood, or the dad who she shot, didn't want to shoot her because he was still like good guy at heart.
He didn't want to shoot his daughter.
He didn't want to kill his daughter. Like as much of a bad guy he was, he didn't want to kill Betty because she wasn't a sinner. So Penelope Blossom ended up shooting him in the head after. She's like, you're weak. Shot him in the head. So they won. They got the antidote for the poison, but she wanted them to lose. Like she was betting on. So even though they won, she was pissed off. She ended up having all the gargoyles, right? It was the gargoyles go after them. Remember, they were chasing them through the woods.
And that's when Cheryl shows up.
Yeah, so they were chasing them through the woods to kill them.
Yeah.
So Penelope's like, kill them all. Like,
right.
Yeah, I don't care if they want. Kill them all.
Yeah.
Because she like completely snapped. She kills Hal and said, kill these 4. They're running through the woods. Cheryl shows up with the pretty poisons and the serpents. Because Nana warns Cheryl. She's like, your mom is doing something bad that she's been planning for months.
Dude.
So Nana tells Cheryl. Cheryl's like, oh shit, we have to go save them. And then, so Tony, the pretty poisons, Cheryl, and her fucking Robin Hood cloak.
Red cloak, dude.
They show up with the serpents, and then So the gargoyles are chasing them through the woods, and you see them running through the woods, and eventually they get to Cheryl and them, and Cheryl starts fucking shooting them with the bows and arrows, and the serpents come and start beating them with bats and wipe out the gargoyles.
Pretty much save the core four.
Yeah, so the core four was saved by Cheryl and Tony and the serpents.
Mm-hmm. And that leads to the scene.
I think that was it. So yeah, Hal was dead there. Chick ended up getting arrested after that night. I don't know really what happened with Penelope. I don't think she got arrested.
I don't know if she lives, dies, gets arrested.
Yeah, I don't know if she escapes.
I would have remembered if we would have remembered if she dies.
Yeah, we also didn't mention Clifford's twin.
Yeah, that was super big.
Not super big.
So the season ends where finally you have the core four sitting in Pops, and they have you think like everything is over. We can be regular high school students. We're going into senior year. This is going to be great. And you're like, wow, this is cool. Like season 4 is going to be this whole new thing. And all of a sudden it shows a flash forward because they're all sitting there. I have no clue what's going on. There's a flash forward where Betty, Veronica, and Archie are all in their underwear, standing around a fire. And Betty is pissed. And she goes, Archie. And he goes, yeah. And she's like, we have to burn all of our clothes and then we'll go wash the blood off in the river. You got to throw Jughead's beanie in the fire also. And you're just like, no. Like, what the hell? This is like 2 minutes to go in the show. And that's what we're going into on season 4. Then it ends and it says spring break, and they swear that you're going to find out what happens in this new season.
I don't think season 4 is going to pick up at that scene in spring break. I think season 4 is going to start at the beginning of the senior year.
Absolutely.
And then I think it's going to end with whatever we saw.
So we'll get into season 4 in 2 seconds. During season 3, Luke Perry dies. He didn't finish doing the season with them. So they just kind of made it off like he went away for work during the show. And the cast swears that there's a total...
Did he go away for work? It
was something like he was on a business trip or something, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they made it off to where he... there will be a special episode for Luke Perry on like what happened to Archie's dad. Like we don't know if they're going to kill him off or if he just had to leave town for good. If Molly Ringwald is taking a huge role in the show and coming in as the mom and sticking around for good. So season 4 has had like really minimal trailers. Like there's not a lot. What's his name? Skeet Ulrich, who plays F.P. Jones. He did an interview and they showed him like one of the first scenes stepping out of his sheriff's car. And he flat out said he's like, in this season, FP is going to remember that he's a serpent for life. So you're kind of like, damn, is he going to be the good guy as the sheriff or Jellybean and Jughead, or is he going to turn back around?
Serpents aren't bad guys.
Right.
You know, they're family, they stick together.
Right, but is he going to screw the town over? And because like the serpents weren't known to be good guys until Jughead took over.
Only because society kind of kept them down.
Yeah.
Society kind of treated them like a bunch of trailer trash, and they were kind of, mad about that. So they kind of wanted to like stick it to everybody who always kept them down.
Yeah.
But at heart, they're not bad people. They're not criminals. They just want to, they want to earn their place in the world.
Mm-hmm. So I remember we were originally talking. You had some thoughts on the whole bonfire scene looking thing with Jughead's hat. We found out, so it only makes sense if you watch the show. We found out that Cole Sprouse, who plays Jughead, was supposed to be in that scene, but they had the crew sitting in like a hot tub, and it was cold in the woods, and they were like, all right, time to shoot. They had to get out of the hot tub in their underwear and stand there on the fire to actually be cold, and Cole Sprouse was like, screw this. And they were like, you know what? It actually looks better with you not there. In a good way, like, the scene looks, it's got more intensity that he's not there rather than if he was in it.
Yeah.
But you were originally saying you thought Jughead did something bad and they're trying to clean it up for him. I don't have a freaking opinion. I don't know what to think.
I don't remember, because that was like my initial thought. And it's been a couple months since I watched it. But
like, whose blood could they be cleaning off? It's not Jughead's. I think Jughead is well and alive.
I don't think he's dead. I think they're hinting at it. I think Jughead's not there because he did something. I think they're cleaning up for something Jughead did.
Riverhead tweeted today. The opening line was, what did I say?
Riverhead. You keep saying
Riverdale. I know. Riverdale tweeted today, are you ready to see Jughead in his new school? And I was really like, wait, what? So I don't know if a new school opened and him and Jellybean are attending and he doesn't go to Riverdale anymore. It's weird. Like,
maybe he had to flee town because of what he did? Oh, no. Because they were starting senior year
with a clean slate. Exactly. That's why that scene was
Four
so
of them were
vital.
sharing milkshakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the last scene was them talking about.
Yeah. But it's crazy. Crazy good show.
I think
binge it. You can finish it by next week. It'll be worth it.
Yeah. Who can it be? Maybe Penny, but no. Jughead's mom took care of Penny.
I know. So here's the thing: if he's going to a new school, it makes more sense. He's gonna meet a rival gang or something, and have to deal with it along those lines. Maybe
it's Hiram. Maybe he has to fight Hiram in the end.
Right. Maybe he kills.
Hiram's still in jail, but
Hiram dies.
Jughead doesn't like Hiram, so
and they move the body, and that's why they had to take their clothes off. It's weird.
Who's gonna be going after Jughead? Why does he have to? I don't know.
It's wacky.
Couldn't tell you.
It's gonna be crazy.
The trailer didn't really give much away.
No, the trailers are really short into it. They're not even to a
I don't
point.
even know if they have dialogue.
Barely.
Yeah.
But they do show a scene of Archie and Veronica together. They show a scene of Jughead and Betty together. So you kind of know the couple start off together at least. But yeah. So that's it. That's our recap on Riverdale. So we're gonna go into a new portion of our podcast called Trivia. Ooh, I'll think of a better name for it. So we're going to ask each other 5 questions, one per person in order, just to quiz each other on what we know. So I'm going to go first. All right. Whose tattoo does Jughead cut off?
Anybody's.
I didn't realize I said it during the show.
That's what I said about earlier before we started the show. Are we going to talk about the show and then ask questions?
Yeah.
Because the questions might just recap what we already said.
Yeah. Do you remember your questions?
I kind of just made them up on the fly. So here's one off the top of my head now that you couldn't figure it out.
I know. Oh my God.
But I was going to word it differently. So the way I asked the question might give you a hint
That'll
of
help.
his name. So who was Kevin's Serpent boyfriend?
Javier, right? No.
That's the one who gets
he's
shot.
He's a Spanish kid. Oh, he dates another one?
He gets shot. No. It's the same one. He leaves town, but he comes back. Joaquin. There you go. Yeah. I told you. So he skips town, but he comes back.
Yeah, because then Kevin finds him during the sewer crate scene. He sees him. They're all a part of it. That's why Betty has to do it all on her own.
Wait, is Joaquin the one that gets shot? Or is it not Sweet Pea?
I think Joaquin gets shot. Or a different one, maybe. There's a whole bunch of them.
Somebody was
the weirdest names.
And somebody gets out. Yeah, so.
What does the F and FP stand for?
Forsyth.
I don't remember what the P stands for.
Neither do I.
Forsyth something Jones. You got a second question? You want me to keep going?
Yeah. I had them.
We can just do it this way. Yeah.
Some of mine are opinion based, so that's why it's.
What number did Jason Blossom wear for football?
How many guesses do I get?
1. Did they give Archie the jersey? It was in the episode we watched, and that's what made me write it down.
17.
It's 9.
That was gonna be my third guess. I was gonna say 17, 15, 9.
What is the Riverdale football team's mascot / name? It's not what you think it is. The cheerleaders are called something else.
Yeah, the cheerleaders are the Vixens.
Got him. They say it during Veronica and Betty's cheer. That might be the only time they actually say it.
Are they the something dogs? Mad dogs?
Or the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. Okay.
And then finally,
Close.
Who was the first Serpent Jughead inducted into the gang? This is how season 2 ended. This was part of it.
Was it Betty?
No, it was Cheryl. He gives her the red jacket.
Yes.
That's his first inductee.
Okay.
And it's in front of everybody. FPA said, and they're like nodding, like, all right, my boy's got this. He's the Serpent King. That's what we got.
Right. So
you
what
got
was
anything else?
Yeah, so I got one. What was the name of Fred and FP's band in high school?
I have no idea.
No?
No.
The Fredheads.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that. That's a good one. Good question.
Who ends up winning student body president?
Oh, shit. Is it a member of the Core 4?
Gives you.
It's not Betty, right?
that he didn't run.
It was Veronica against Cheryl.
No.
It was Veronica against... Veronica doesn't win.
I think it was Ethel.
God, Ethel fucking sucks.
Oh no, or was it Mary? Is her name Mary? Ever Never?
Oh yeah.
She was running.
Mary.
And then
the winner?
I think, what's his name? Zach? Is that his name?
Reggie? Reggie wins.
No.
Veronica wins?
Yeah.
I don't know. Dude, I don't remember that. Season 3, I should rewatch season 3. Do it for next Wednesday. That's what I'll do next Wednesday at work. Watch. And it's New Comic Book Day. Podcast right into freaking Riverdale. Got any others? Are we done?
I can come up with some. Alright, well, okay, let me ask you an opinion.
God.
Who is your favorite character on the show?
Jughead Jones.
Jughead. Okay, I think I knew that.
You're an Archie fan.
Yeah.
You love KJ Appa, admit it. Like, I like Cole Sprouse, but I like Cole Sprouse, so we were talking about it. Cole Sprouse and the Leon Reinhardt really got together. That's Betty and Jughead. They got together through the show.
But I do like Jughead.
I also think Betty is a very good character.
The reason I like Archie is because I'm always drawn to the good guy, the main guy.
Yeah.
Like, I watch Harry Potter. Who's my favorite character in Harry Potter? Harry fucking Potter.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I'm also... So, like, in, like, World of Warcraft, I played Paladin, and Archie becomes the Red Paladin.
Oh, that's right.
So it's kind of like, okay, that's very true. Like, Archie's, like, the warrior, the good guy. So I'm just very drawn to guys like that. And, yeah. I don't know. So,
yeah, no, fair enough.
Archie's probably my favorite.
All right, we are going to go play some Crash Team Racing. So,
I have
thank you for being here.
desk.
Oh, you got one? Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
No, I don't know it.
Well, ask me during Crash Team Racing. Next week on Wednesday, Nick's picks, then New Riverdale. I don't know if it's at 9 or 10. 2 weeks after that, you feel free to come back on. So, come back to our stomping grounds. I figured episode 30 has to be big for Nicktendo. Gonna go all the way back to episode 1. We're gonna do the Talking Dead.
Gonna be that?
You can. So it's gonna be the most recent season.
Oh, you said we, so I just assumed.
My brother Dan's gonna be on it. Hopefully, that's a big part of my plan. Of course, bring him back. He was on episode 1. He's got to be on the next episode of The Walking Dead. And we'll go. The first 2 episodes will air. So we'll go into what we think is gonna happen with the Whisperer War going on. So join us for all that. Thanks everyone for coming on. This is a lot of viewers at one point. So super stoked to have you guys all on. YouTube, I wish I knew who was on there. I hope it's not me. It's just not telling me. Imagine.
It's probably you.
I know. I have a bad feeling it's me. But whoever that is, super cool. YouTube's doing better. Facebook, I know I give you the middle finger, but it's not your fault. It's just trying to get by. So YouTube, Instagram, good night. We'll play some Crash Team Racing. Sorry about all my posts today.